is real. Spinoza defines substance, the basic category of his metaphysics, as what is in itself and conceived through itself. That is, what has true ontological and epistemological independence. Thus God is nothing distinct from nature itself. God is nature, and nature is all there is. This is why Spinoza prefers the phrase Deus sive natura, God or nature. Early in his philosophical masterpiece, The Ethics, Spinoza says that whatever is in God, and from the necessity of the divine nature there must follow infinitely many things in infinitely many ways. All things, without exception, are in and a part of nature. They are governed by the principles of nature and brought about by other natural causes. Spinoza can be read either as a pantheist, and historically this seems to be far and away the most common interpretation, or as an atheist, as some of his most vehement critics and fans have done. Either way, what is non-negotiable is the denial of the personal, anthropomorphic Abrahamic God. It follows that there is, and can be, no such thing as divine providence, at least as this is typically understood. Everything that happens in nature, and by nature's laws, happens with blind, absolute necessity. Everything and every state of affairs is causally determined to be as it is. Neither nature itself nor anything in nature could have been otherwise. As Spinoza puts it, in nature there is nothing contingent, but all things have been determined from the necessity of the divine nature to exist and produce an effect in a certain way. In Spinoza's view, this is not the best of all possible worlds. It is not even one among many possible worlds. This is the only possible world. Things could have been produced by God in no other way, and in no other order than they have been produced. Needless to say, there are not, and cannot be, miracles understood as divinely caused exceptions to the laws of nature. It is not just that miracles are highly unlikely or difficult to detect. They are metaphysically impossible. Nature cannot possibly contravene its own necessary ways. Events we take to be miraculous are simply those whose natural causal explanation we are ignorant. Nothing happens in nature which is contrary to its universal laws. The term miracle cannot be understood except in relation to men's opinions, and means nothing but a work whose natural cause we cannot explain by example of another familiar thing, or at least which cannot be so explained by the one who writes or relates the miracle. Teleology, too, is a fiction. There are no purposes for nature, and no purposes in nature. Nature itself does not exist for the sake of anything else, and nothing is directed by nature toward any end. Whatever is, just is. Whatever happens, just happens, and had to happen. Neither the universe itself nor anything in the universe was created to achieve some goal. What is true for teleology is also true of moral and aesthetic values. Nothing is good or bad or beautiful or ugly in itself. As far as good and evil are concerned, they also indicate nothing positive in things, considered in themselves, nor are they anything other than modes of thinking, or notions we form because we compare things to one another. God did not create the world because it was good, nor is the world good because God created it. Again, whatever is, just is, and had to be as it is, period. Such is the universe that Spinoza describes and establishes through the geometrical method, a series of definitions, axioms, demonstrated propositions, corollaries, and scholia, in the metaphysical parts of the Ethics. It seems, on the face of it, a rather bleak picture, one worthy of the most radical form of nihilism. But there is more. The inviolable necessity of nature governs not only the world of physical bodies, where apples fall from trees and rocks roll down hills, but also the domain of human activity, including whatever happens in the human mind. Thoughts, ideas, intentions, feelings, judgments, desires, even volitions, our everyday acts of willing and choosing, are all as strictly necessitated by the laws of thought as bodies in motion are by the laws of physics. Indeed, Spinoza boldly proclaims in the beginning